このアップルパイ最高。
グレイシアさんってすっごく料理上手なんだよ。
知ってるよ。前に作ってもらったキッシュもすっげーうまかった。
へへ、体を取り戻したら食べたいものリストにちゃんと入ってるもんね。
作り方教えてもらったから、アルの体が戻ったら焼いてあげるね。やった！
So welcome back to the channel guys, and today we are going to make apple pie from Full Metal Alchemist, or should I say Hagane no Renkin Jutsushi. Well, we start off by measuring 700 grams of plain flour. Into that we are going to add around 15 grams of table salt, and then we have over here is around 500 grams of cold frozen unsalted butter. And it's necessary to use frozen butter and not the room temperature butter specifically for this kind of dough. Well, you have question, try using the room temperature butter and tell me how it is. So later on, then we are going to bring our pastry together by adding around 125 ml of ice cold water. Please emphasize on the word ice cold. I want this water to be ice cold. And then we are going to add very cold water part by part and bring all of our dough together. I'm just saying that it should be brought together and not be kneaded in it. So bring everything together like family. Dom Toreto, is that you? Well, no TikTok jokes on YouTube, Siddesh. Then after bringing everything together, we are going to just shape it in a big log or something like that and tightly wrap it in plastic wrap. And over here, assume that I'm wrapping it tightly and covering it properly. There shouldn't be any blind spots. And then I'm going to label it. Unfortunately, my hands were wet and marker wasn't working, so be happy with pie dough and not dough. Place it inside the freezer and let's bring this out tomorrow early in the morning. Go to the market, bring some pink lady apples for the obvious apple pie. Pink lady because I saw that Winry was using pink lady. And all your dice apples should be of same size because we are going to cook them prior. So once it's all diced up of same size, we are going to throw off the center core after chewing on them, and then we are going to add one whole lemon. If you want, you can add a lemon zest to it. For me, I forgot. And make sure you don't add any lemon seeds in it because you don't want lemon seeds in your apple pie. Then set up a cast iron pan or any non-stick pan on the gas. Add around 50 grams or 1 knob of butter or 2 tablespoons of butter. Melt it on medium heat. Add our apples, and as you can see, there was too many apple and not enough pan. There were too many apples and not enough pan. My grammar, man. And stir it as and when necessary. Well, this is a total process of around 45 minutes, so I sped it up. Then we are going to add around 2 tablespoons of Castor sugar. Mix it thoroughly. And I did this act of grating cinnamon stick. Don't do that. Simply bring cinnamon powder and nutmeg powder. Over here I added nutmeg, 1 whole nutmeg and 1 stick of cinnamon in the spice grinder and grinded it, and added around 1 tablespoon of mixture to the apples and let it cook. And as I said, it took me 45 minutes for the apples to cook. Low and slow, and have patience while doing this. It's necessary. And if you want, you can add more sugar. Well, recipe will be in the description. Recipe will be in the description. Then we are going to remove our dough, divide it in half, put flour on the bent surface, then put the rest of the dough inside. Then we are going to cover the dough with our flour and please excuse me if you're going to see my butt too many times. It's just that I wanted to give some attention to the apples over there. Then roll out your dough in thin sheet, and make sure you have enough flour so the dough wouldn't stick to the work surface and or to the rolling pin, and do the rolling process. So once our pastry is nice and thin, we are going to line our pie dish with the pastry. Then once the apples are like 90% cooked, as you can see here, we are going to switch the gas off and transfer it into the bowl, and straight away place it inside the freezer to cool it down. And later on we are going to use the offcuts to make the lattice pattern. Just roll the dough thinly and cut the dough into long strips lengthwise. And then once the pie is near to assembly, we are going to preheat our oven to 200 degrees Celsius, fan on, and the timer should be set down around 45 minutes. And then make sure you trim off all the excess part of the pastry from the outer side, because we don't want that hanging around in the oven. Once the pastry is nice and latticed, we are going to apply egg wash. While making egg wash, it's nothing but 1 egg and a little bit of milk, which we are going to whisk it properly in a small bowl. Then we are going to take our time and apply it on the pie. Make sure you take your own sweet time and apply it into all the small crevices of the lattice, and then transfer it on the baking sheet and sprinkle it with our spice sugar, cinnamon and nutmeg spice sugar. Then we are going to put this inside the oven for 45 minutes. Check in every 15-minute interval, and here it is, the pie done and dusted, ready after 45 minutes of its cooking. Well, the only thing worrying about this pie was the pastry, which I needed it to be properly cooked. And then we are going to trim off the excess. Then comes the time to portion the pie and do the taste test, which I was not so good at, because I made this apple pie for the first time in my life just because I saw it in a show and thought, like, why can't I make it for myself? And you know what, things happen when you do it. So that's the kind of motivation for you and me. Here, straight up this video, topping it up with vanilla ice cream, and there it is, same as Mrs. Hughes or Miss Winry's John made it in Full Metal Alchemist. Whoa, boy! Free मध्ये मुंग्या नाही.
फ्रीज मध्ये मुंग्या ना नाही ना. फ्रीज मध्ये कसं मुंग्या?
मी विचारलं. Also, this is something my mom wouldn't like me doing it, but the pie was so good that I didn't want anything to go to waste. And hence, this was the apple pie from Full Metal Alchemist. Thank you.
Let it all out. 強がらなくていいんだね。
And one more thing, my mom wouldn't be happy looking at me doing stuff like this. But anyways, this was apple pie from Full Metal Alchemist. See ya.